the beginning of the play, we start out with a spoken word about child labor, and we're scattered throughout the audience, and it's pitch black, and we have flashlights, and when it's our turn to speak, we turn our flashlights on, and like the light glows, and then it's only like two people speaking at the exact same time, and it's really, really powerful.
With all the new inventions and demands for goods, big corporations went to the poor places and the poor hoods. And instead of going to school, kids would go to work, and they would never play with friends, and they would barely see a smirk. 'Cause they were usually in the dirt, digging for cotton or coal, and things got so bad it was hard to count the death toll.
So we started the process by researching the Industrial Revolution and segueing into child labor, and specifically Lewis Hine, and how Lewis Hine was an agent of social change for our country. We've been studying this year how have people throughout time created social change, and so we've been focusing on rights of children and the government and specific people throughout this school year.
We do a play every year. Every year they choose the theme, and this year was child labor.
Well, we started in the beginning before this whole play. Well, we knew about the whole play that we were doing. We were studying on child labor, the different conditions children went through in the mills, the mines, and as newsies.
This year it's about how people work to help kind of end child labor in the country. So my friend Abel is Lewis Hine. So Lewis Hine is a photographer, or was a photographer, that took pictures of child laborers in a mill and stuff, and the breaker. So we have every scene at the end, we have a flash of one of his photos. So that's pretty cool.
And so Lewis Hine was kind of the key person for this particular component of the study. But they've also talked about how there's musicians who are agents of change, artists, in other ways, in other mediums that people can create social change in our country. And that's led into other pieces for them as students have become agents of social change themselves with positive change projects.
We have Helen Weston and Grace Freeman, and Helen is helping us with the music, the piano, and the choreography.
And Grace is in charge of playwriting, auditions, and she tells us when we're going too fast or we're too quiet.
We started doing writing a show with the children, the 5th and 6th grade children here 3 years ago. And so we've continued each year, and it's producing something that highlights their academic studies throughout the year. So it's this year's rights and responsibilities of children present and past, and how to affect change and that kind of stuff.
In terms of literacy, we were focusing on elements of fiction, and how do you create a story arc, a plot diagram that starts with a conflict, ends with a resolution, has the climax at the top. And so how can you think about a story of fiction and then apply it to drama and create an overarching arc for a whole play that has a clear conflict, a clear resolution centered around what we studied in school. And then from there, we broke up all the pieces of the rising action into individual scene groups. So there were lots of students were really interested in writing the play. So we had them in small groups. Some were writing about breaker boys, some were writing about the mill. We have students writing about the National Child Labor Committee. We had a group focus on present day, just how is it going to weave together and create this whole arc. So within the overarching plot, there's individual subplots for each of the scenes.
So we had our groups the mill workers, the newsies, the breakers. We came up with ideas in how the scenes are going to be in our groups, and then we just started writing the details and what the characters would be like and their personalities and stuff. and how are they were going to act. And then we wrote our own lines and kind of just generated it all off of that.
So I start with the writing part with them, and I just come in like a few times, like 4 or 5 days, and we start out just with a whole massive brainstorming. I've already talked to the teachers. I come in and talk to the kids, just, get your wheels rolling so that when we start, we really have some stuff to talk about. And then we set up, we do different stations, and they big sheets of paper, and they just, each topic, there were 6 topics, and each topic everyone wrote on.
We had a brainstorm session, and we just talked about ideas, and we just tried to get down a basic idea so we could build off of that idea into our big play.
Each group would write their own scene, like whatever people would say, how many lines they wanted, what they wanted to say.
And then I took all that and took that home and made it into a more workable version for the next week's, where then everyone worked on just one aspect. So we got to shift around again, but you were actually more into the writing of the story part. And then it just continued that way. I just keep, as I get more input from them, I just keep siphoning in it and making it more defined, and it comes back to them. So they're getting the whole editor premise, because by the end, like I came in on this Monday, and I said, okay, guys, you got 3 more days. By Wednesday noon, that's when I become the final editor. So whatever you want, and I've been going through and writing through them as they work each day. And so then last night it was just like massive finish, and we have a script.
And now we're just kind of like Grace took them last night and like melded them all together into the script. And now we're just practicing that with like reading the script and being able to see it out there.
Today we actually got our finished script, and so we started blocking, and then really after the blocking it's just memorizing your lines, and and then we perform.
When I always saw plays, I thought it was just like, oh, they just practice for like a few days, they get it, it's done. But like, you have to work very hard. It's really hard to do. Like every day you'll come home and your legs will be aching and you're like, oh, I need to sit down. But it's really fun. It's like, it's worth the trouble that you go through.
So part of the English Language Arts Common Core standards that we assess, there's multiple strands of ELA Common Core, but the 2 specific ones we focused on are writing, and thinking about how to write a play and how to write a narrative, and then also, and the components that go along with that, character development and plot. And then the other big piece would be speaking and listening. That's a strand in itself, and so of course there's a lot of speaking happening in the play, and also part of that strand is collaborating in meaningful discussions with grade level peers. So that certainly happened quite a bit to develop the whole goal, the whole overarching idea of the play, and then also every time they worked in their small groups to work on the writing, they had to collaborate and listen to one another and share ideas, and then take their ideas into consideration as they formulated their individual scene.
I won't just survive. Oh, you will see me thrive. Can't write my story. I'm beyond the archetype. I won't just
My favorite part of the whole process, I really liked auditions and when we wrote the scripts. Oh, and I like performing.
I like the songs a lot. I like singing, so I liked when we like learn the songs, because some of the songs I've heard and some I haven't. So I get to like help people out or learn with them. So it's fun.
Probably the dancing.
I think just singing the songs and practicing the songs and dances with it, because they come once you put the dances together with the songs, it looks really cool. And yeah,
Definitely the rehearsals. And when we sing Seize the Day, and I'm the boss, and I get to yell at people and calling them slackers. It's really fun.
It kind of prepares you for bigger events that might be in the future, like the Mount A play. And I just kind of like being around this type of stuff just because it kind of prepares me for that. And it's very fun also.
I'd say when, well, that's actually kind of a tough question because I love the whole play.